Okay. Injury-wise, Ernest Jones, will limit him today, but he's made good progress. He'll be listed as questionable, but expect him to go. Laryl Murchison will be out. Kyron Williams will be out. Ben Skoranek will be listed as questionable, but don't expect any sort of setbacks in that regard. And then with Derion Kendrick, obviously have him back. Got a chance to be able to sit down and speak with him yesterday. And, I think based on the information that I got, the conversation that we were able to have, I think, use it as a learning opportunity. I think there's certain circumstances and situations that arise that you always use your values and principles to be able to make decisions. I trust this kid's heart. I believe in him. I also believe in forgiveness and understanding. And there's certain things that we can use to be able to learn from. And then there's certain mistakes that people make that maybe it's a little bit different conversation, but based on my understanding of what occurred, I feel like this is something that we can move forward with. I really do believe in the human being. I believe in the person, and we'll see how he handles today. Want to be smart with him just because he was away for a couple days, but if he feels good, then he will have an opportunity to play for us this weekend. But we're going to take it a day at a time. He didn't practice yesterday. He was here for walkthrough. It was good to just be back around the guys. There'll be a conversation that he and I will have, but as far as if he's feeling good and we feel like it's the best thing for him and for our team, based on the information I have, feel comfortable with him, being a participant in this week's game and us being able to move forward and learn from it because of everything that, the understanding and the information that I have from our dialogue.
Will he practice today?
He will, yes.
In terms of the process as it unfolds,
Yep.
obviously some legal stuff still on the way, but what's the league's sort of involved? Are you expecting any sort of...
I'm not. Usually those situations, if there is any sort of punishment or suspension, that usually takes a little bit of time, Jordan. And I think in a lot of instances too, they trust the teams to be able to say, okay, how do you measure the information you have? And then what is the guidelines for your values and principles that dictate and determine how you want to be able to move forward? And I do feel like, hey, it's a mistake that we can learn from, but not exclusively to Derion, but also a lot of our players. There were some things that I learned about some of the California laws that I didn't even know in regards to just checking all the boxes in regards to some of the things that we can learn from. I want to be careful to say too much just because of the legalities, but based on the information that I have, I feel comfortable with our conversation. I do know he's remorseful. I know how regretful he is for any sort of distractions that he caused for this team. I know his teammates love him, and I don't think there's anything. I think it can be powerful when forgiveness is deserved, and in this situation, I do think this is one of those situations. Now, you have other situations that come up, that might not be the case with some of the values and principles, but this isn't one of those, and that's exactly how I feel, and I'm always going to be open and honest with you guys to the level of extent that I can be.
The fact that it allegedly involved a gun.
Yep.
Does that give you or the Rams pause at all in terms of...
Well, I think you asked the questions. I think you asked the questions about, all right, what were the layers behind it? You try to have an understanding, and then you say, how do we learn from that? And that's kind of how I, chose to look at that as it relates to the gun.
You guys have mentioned his hydration a lot in terms of him trying to onboard.
A lot. What did Raheem mention it to yesterday? It's just making sure. It's really just getting him back into a normalized rhythm and routine. He was away from us for a couple days, and so whether it be Katie, our nutritionist, Reggie, Zach, our performance staff, all of those different things where there's a lot of metrics that we measure relative to just making sure that when you're away for a little bit, and some of the things that you're accustomed to going through with your rhythm and routine, we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to not leave him susceptible to an unnecessary soft tissue injury, things of that nature. And then I think to Gary's question earlier, Adam, a big part of it is that, hey, these things take an emotional toll on guys as well. And so that's as important as anything is, hey, based on the information we have, all right, want to be able to welcome you back with open arms and let it be a learning opportunity that, we've got to be able to learn from. With that being said, you also want to take into account, how do you feel? It's our job to be able to make sure we're putting players in a position to be able to be successful. And this is one of those deals that's not exclusive to just football, but there's a totality in terms of the human being that's more important to me than anything.
I think he's handling that
I think he's handled it as good as you can, and that's what you don't feel until you talk to him is the authenticity, the regret for any sort of unnecessary distraction for this team. But what I also felt was a building and a team and a bunch of people that were willing to be able to extend their arms, welcome him back, know that, hey, we love you, we care about you, and let's learn from it. And that's what we're going to do. And it was good to be able to have him in the building the last couple of days. He said he has a good look in his eye today, and we'll see how practice goes and how that dictates and determines exactly what his role will look like for us on Sunday.
Do you have a sense on who's going to start and who will be in rotation for your running back on Sunday?
I do have a sense of that, yes. No, I will not.
It looked like...
Not to be rude on that. It's just that there's no reason to share it.
But with the guys who've been around for a little while, Royce and Zach, there was some expression from coaches and all that, wanting to see them take this step forward, and for yourself as well, take this step forward into the week.
Sure.
Do you like what you saw?
I did. I liked what I saw from all four of those guys, Jordan. And really, Daryl came back in. He's a guy that's going to be up and active this week. He's done a great job of being able to quickly reacclimate himself back to a lot of the things that we've done. He's taken good care of himself in the meantime. And I have been pleased with Royce. He's smart, conscientious. He's been ready for this opportunity. Zach's a guy that's continuing to learn. And then Myles Gaskin, being in Minnesota, being in Miami, there is some familiarity, and he's got a skill set that's intriguing. I liked what I've seen from him. So there's a possibility we'd have all four guys up. And then if not, then we'll go with three. And we're really still working through, truthfully, who those three would be between those four guys, and we might have all four of them up.
Back on Derion for a minute, who can you talk to here as he continues to settle in? What's the protocol with people going through things here?
Yeah, we have Kerry Hastings, who does an excellent job, as a team, clinician and psychiatrist if they need to be able to do that. But also, I think it's about just the people that you've developed relationships with, whether it be myself, Raheem, Aubrey, and him have developed a really special relationship. His teammates, I think, just getting back to a normalized environment. I think it was really great. I got a chance to speak with his mother, who I know was incredibly comforting in terms of helping him navigate through that. His girlfriend was great with the situation as well. And those are never easy things, but I think more than anything, you just want to know you have a lot of different people that you can go to that care about you, the person. And that's kind of what has been standard operating procedure for us.
Have you made an IR decision on Kyron?
We haven't yet. That'll come tomorrow if we do.
Sean, in terms of your pre-draft stuff, background you did on Derion before you guys drafted him, he had reportedly some incidents in the past that seem on some level to be similar to the latest incident. How much, in terms of weighing whether he'll continue with you guys this week and having him play, does that figure into the equation?
I think you want to always educate guys, and I think you want to understand exactly what were the circumstances behind each individual situation instead of saying it's kind of a one-off. I think there's always some different layers that you weigh. What I think is important that doesn't go lost on us, we want to be able to learn, and we don't want to make continued repeated mistakes. It was a similar type of situation, but there were some different dynamics that existed in this one, and so those are things that are important to us. But I always believe, you guys hear me talk about the football character and different things like that. I think some of these things, when you look at it, Gary, as a whole, and you say, do I think this makes him a bad person? No, I do not. I trust based on the relationship that's been built. I trust based on the heart that I know that he has, that these can be learning opportunities. Now, there's other things, and this is a totally different case, but you do something where, like you harm a female, that's a totally different conversation. I feel totally different based on our values and principles, but based on the information that I have, we definitely weigh the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff heavily. But it's also getting to know the person, and then when certain situations arise, how do you help them navigate through it? How do you make sure that there's an empathy, but there's also an understanding of, all right, what are our standards and how can we move forward the right way? And then where are we at in regards to let's make sure things like this don't occur again? And if they do, then maybe there's a different conversation and a dialogue that I'm having with you guys as well. Okay? Thanks, guys.